order to commemorate the 75 years of independence of this country. While I thank the Dr. Agrawal, Dr. DDG Engineering, Dr. Algu Sundaram, and all other functionaries of ICAR for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts on this occasion.
Thank you, sir. I, on behalf of Indian Council for Agricultural Research, I thank Professor Tiwari, who is an alumnus of IIT Kharagpur, for this important lecture series, 75 lecture series of Government of India celebrations for this 75 years of independence. So that is one of the activity ICAR has started, in addition to many other activities which we are having every week. In this series, we are having the lectures by eminent persons in different domains of agriculture, and even some of the lectures we shall have related to the personality development, motivational lectures, and some general lectures. But mostly we will have lectures related to the technical aspects. And in that series itself, we thought that there cannot be any better person than Professor Tiwari from IIT Kharagpur to take up this topic on agriculture mechanization for the India in the 21st century, which is very important and very relevant topic for the Indian agriculture. Professor Tiwari's core research areas include tractor system design, ergonomics and industrial safety, design of agricultural machines, precision agriculture, and machinery system management. Among his key research projects, the Center of Excellence for Digital Farming Solutions for Enhancing Productivity by Robots, Drones, and AGVs, National Agriculture Higher Education Project deserves special mention. So the project which we are running through the ICAR, this NEHEP, which I am also heading. So he's a very key person as far as the agriculture mechanization is concerned. In addition, he is leading several projects by Central Institute of Agriculture Engineering, CIE Bhopal, of our ministry, of our council. He has been conferred with several awards, and I'll not name all those awards, but to name a few, he's been awarded by Indian Society of Agriculture Engineers, Indian Society for Technical Education, National Research Development Corporations, then by many other, like Jawaharlal Nehru Award for his contributions in the field of agriculture mechanization. So we are fortunate enough that he has agreed to give a talk on this important topic. And we request all the participants to keep on the mute. And after his talk of 30 to 40 minutes, whatever time Professor Tiwari is going to take, we will invite few questions by the participants. And rest questions, if the time doesn't permit, we'll finish it by 12 o'clock. They can be answered through the chat box. So thank you everybody for joining this important talk. And now I give floor to Professor Tiwari, please. Thank you, Dr. Tiwari.
Thank you, Professor Agrawal. Actually, as I said earlier, that I'm very happy and humbled by the request and the opportunity given by ICAR to share my thoughts. I am very happy that some of my student friends who are now officials, I can see our CIE Director, Mehtaji, then I can see Subrato Karmakar, and then I can see some of my friends here who are now doing very well in their field. I'm very happy that we are a good knit of the agricultural engineers who are serving this country in various ways and the ways we can afford to. Well, I think we have planned in such a way that the actual genesis of what mechanization is and where we are leading to and what are the requirements. We have been seeing the various aspects of agricultural changes that has taken place, particularly in the agriculture sector, right from 47, you can say, when we were granted freedom. And over the years, changes have taken place. Many changes have taken place, and various ways of happenings have taken place in the field of agricultural mechanization, in the field of irrigation, in the field of food processing, and also the various operations, mechanization of various operations. We are yet to go ahead with a lot of mechanization in the area of horticulture. Then even food processing also, things have stayed many towards the lab only. But we need to come out and have small units which will be actually serving the population, particularly the small and marginal farms. So I have just tried to share my thoughts the way I think the 21st century mechanization of this country must go. So I'll take the help of the slides which my friends and my students have prepared over here. Well, this farm mechanization, I suppose everybody knows what exactly farm mechanization we are talking of. We are, in fact, when we see why do we think of mechanization, it's nothing but engineering applications for timeliness of operations, and we want productivity higher. Of course, there is a stronger merit for having higher productivity because we have to feed more people. We'll come to that subsequently. Food security, yes, as I said, we have to feed more people. That means food security is essential for each and every person. There was a time when there was a scarcity of food in this country. And we had seen the, over years, the PL 480, and then several other things came up. We can say the Green Revolution and White Revolution, and then Yellow Revolution have taken place over the years. And therefore, food security is one of the most important portions whenever we talk of agriculture. We have a large population to feed. Sustainable agriculture, yes, this is another concept that we have been talking over the years. We always want that the agriculture must sustain. In fact, for that matter, every system must sustain itself for that a period for which it is designed. And therefore, it is very much essential that all the components of any system must be taken care of very well, so that it persists over its results over a period of time. And the same is the case with agriculture as well. We would like that whatever we are getting from the agricultural land, it should be sustainable over a period of time, whether we are talking of food, feed, fiber, and other environmental ecosystem that we have created. Everything must be safe, and hence it should be sustainable so far as the food security is concerned, so far as the strength to the humanity is concerned in this on this earth. I have tried to put it like this, a land use map of India. Of course, these data are available, but we have tried to bring out this data in slightly different form. Now, you see, what are the requirements of these? You see here, 1951, we had a population of 36.10 crores. And this Indian population from 1951 to 81 and then 2020, it's something of the order of 138.04 crores. Now, you see, the population has increased over a period of time. And see what has happened to the geographical area, 329 million hectares. Then the net sown area is what, 140.8 million hectares. Net irrigated area is 65.3 million hectares. Gross cropped area, 195.2 million hectares at the population when we have 138.04. So this is the condition at this position of 2020. We have the population increase. You can just see that maybe 36, if you take 38, and this is 138. So 100 crores have increased in this period of time. But if you see what are the availability of the resources, then we have a different scenario altogether. Let's have a look at this. See, 1970-71, the gross cropped area was 165.79 million hectares. And in 2015-16, this area is 197.05 million hectares. Now, you see, there has been a change here so far as the increase in cropped area is concerned. Maybe that we will have to look into how it has come. Definitely, it is the cropping intensity which has increased. because I'm sure the land which was there has shrunk because of the population, and because population has to be housed, population has to be given infrastructure for schools, colleges, hospitals, roads, other infrastructure which has to be given to the population, and hence we have nothing else except that the land which is there with us. I'm sure the land must have decreased. So the land has decreased, but the population has increased. And therefore, it is only the cropping intensity which has increased. And that's why we can see that 1970-71 to 2015 and 16, we have a gross cropped area of 197.05. So there is an increase of that. Now, from 1970-71, average size of land holding was 2.20 hectares. And in 2015-16, it has come to 1.02 hectares. Yes, look at this. That the fragmentation of land has taken place. There could be several reasons for that. Maybe the whole society has changed over a period of time. You can see the society, joint family used to be there. Now this has shrunk. Many other factors, I've just touched one of them, could be there. So there is a decrease in this. Now you can say 53.63% decrease of the land holding from 2.2 hectares to about 1.02 hectares. Then your population, of course, 70-71 to 2015, 132, roughly you can say that about 70 crores or so there has been increase. Now you see in food grain, what was there in 2016 is 20 million tons. And the food grains requirement in 2030, we have not gone to 2015, which is the requirement where the population of the world will be about 9.1 billion people. And therefore, we have a bigger picture to look at. But here, if you see in 2030, we have a population which is going to be 355, we have to have food grains for that population, about 355 million tons. So when you are talking of the population rise will be about 160 crores or so, if you can take the current situation. So this is the situation where the food grain, what was there in 2016 and what is going to be there in next 15 years of time, that is 2030, is 355 million tons. Now, how do we reach these figures? So this is a question which is to be answered, and therefore we know that all these details we have given certain aspects of food security. When we are talking of food security, we are also talking of the food for everyone, fine. At the same time, we need to maintain, we need to have a certain affordability, the lifestyle of the people, the affordability of this. That means we need to create an ecosystem by which we have affordable food and then availability of the food to each and every person, affordability of the food, and then nutritious food. We have to also think of that nutrition. You see, if you go and see the condition in the villages and larger population that are below the poverty line, you will find that so much of malnutrition is there. And therefore, when we are talking of food in a given ecosystem, we are definitely talking of food which is affordable, nutritious, and available to everyone. So this is the food security that we are talking of. We are talking of the sustainability of the resources in such a way that we have this food security for all. And if we are talking of 2030, we will have to find out the innovative ways by which we reach to the figure which was projected there. Now you see the condition here. What was the condition and what has been the condition? Let us have a look at it. The food grain production. See, the food grain production rice, we have taken a figure, 1950-51, it was 20.58 million tons. In 2018-19, this figure has been 110.15 million tons. Right? Similarly, if you go for the wheat, 50-51, the figure was 6.46 million tons, and 2017-18, it was 98.38 million tons. So you can see that there has been increased, but what are the reasons? We will come to each one of them. Maize production. You see, maize production was 1.73 million tons in 50-51. It has 17-18. It has 26.26 million tons. Similarly, when you go to pulse production, gram, tur, lentil, similar trend we find that there has been an increase in the production of this, and that is why we had in 2016, as I was showing the figure of 250 million tons. So you can see that there has been increase. Food grain production has increased. That means a revolution has taken place in this country. There is no need to define that, but we all know that yes, it has taken, and that is why we are full. We can say that we are well sufficient so far as the food production is concerned. But we have a bigger question to answer when we go forward. Well, go to the other conditions, horticulture crops. See the condition of horticulture crops. This is very important, because when you think of you are thinking of production, we are thinking of the farmer's income, we are thinking of many factors wherein the farmer has to be made wealthy. If the farmer is stronger, then only we can think that our nation is stronger. And this was talked of long back, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. So we are talking of Jai Kisan here. And therefore we can say that we have to make the farmer stronger so far as financial condition is concerned, and that can only come from his own land and the variety of crops that he can take. So there is good relationship between the different types of crops a person can take in his land, and what are the means, what are the infrastructure that he needs to be given to have those, what are the government help and subsidy or whatever. I did not touch upon that subsidy part of it, but I can say that yeah, there has to be a resource help to the farmers so that they are in a position to produce many things, and therefore in the same land that we saw that the land has decreased over a period of time, whereas the population or the food to be given has increased. And therefore we need that horticultural crops. We see the figure 2004-05, it was 166.9 million tons. 17-18, this has risen to about 311.7 million tons. Fruit production, yes, this has also gone from 50.9 million tons in 2004-05 to 97.4 million tons. Similarly, spice production, it has gone from 1 million ton to 9.5 million tons. Groundnut production, the rapeseed and mustard, you can see that the figures, there has been an increase. And I said earlier that it is all credit to all our persons involved, the scientists involved, the farmers, and all the researchers involved in the country at various locations in various crops and with the infrastructure, and a lot of help from the government. We are in a better position now in each of the aspects of food production or horticulture crops, pulses crops, fruit, all these spices, etc. The condition is very good, but the problem and the distance yet to cover is a large distance to be covered. Well, let us have a look at where we are when we compare, because when we talk of comparison, we talk of yardstick. And definitely we must have a yardstick as to where we are looking at and what we want to do, what is there in the world today. And we are thinking that we would like to become a $5 trillion economy, and by 2024. And we are also thinking of Vishwaguru in our education system, which was there some thousands and thousands of years back. And therefore, when we are talking of that, we must see where we stand today with whatever infrastructure, whatever the talent, innovative talent, the young, our population, young population, which is there, and our various alumni from various organizations, not only IITs, but from various other institutes and universities who are spread all over the world. So we are proud of all our people who are going and serving the world. Therefore, we would like to compare where we are vis-a-vis the other countries. Now you can have a look at this, because we are talking of mechanization per se. So you can see that USA, the mechanization level is about 95%, and the contribution to GDP of agriculture's contribution to GDP is only 1%. And therefore, you can see that what is their production. Maybe that in the next slide, I will show you the level of production for these countries. You see here, Europe, 1.4% is the contribution of GDP, and their mechanization level is 85%. Brazil, 4.3%, and the mechanization level is 75%. China 7.5% contribution to this, and it has about 50% mechanization level. I think there is a hint in this particular aspect of mechanization level. When we compare the mechanization level that we have is about 40%, and the contribution to GDP is 15.9%. While we can say mechanization level is 50% in China, the population of China and population of India are very close, and therefore we need to have a clue as to what should be the level of mechanization. Where should we go? Are we talking of 95% mechanization level? Are we talking of 75% mechanization level? What is our target? Because all other countries, if you talk of the population level and the contribution of the people in agriculture is different as compared to these two countries, which are large populated countries. So therefore, there is message which is said about 50% mechanization level, but they have 7.5% contribution of GDP, whereas we have just double of that virtually, but 40% mechanization level. So here we need to think as to what should be the optimum level of mechanization that this country thinks of, because we have to use our people in such a way that because the larger population is involved in our agriculture, and therefore we have to think of how to take care of these people. If you're talking of full mechanization level, what will be the activities and the opportunities for those people? Where will be those opportunities available to them? Whether it's possible to give them in construction work or the other infrastructure development, or further skill development for various other industry contributions or industrial jobs. I think we need to do, and there the question of innovation, the question of inherent knowledge, which we need to look to for solving this problem of the contribution to GDP and the level of mechanization that we need to have for this particular country. Well, this is a good way of looking at those prospects which I was talking earlier. See, in this country, if we compare here, of course, China is here. So you can see the agriculture land is 528 million hectares in China, and our agriculture land is 179.67 million hectares. Now you see here, we have land which is smaller than China. The productivity, have a look at the productivity level, 6081 in China and 3248 kg per hectare in our country. Now you go to Japan. Japan, you see here that the agriculture land is 4.4 million hectares. Now this is another example of what they are saying, but if we go back to the previous figure, see Japan, of course, Japan is not here in this. Well, Japan is not here, so I cannot put this figure to here. But then I can say that, see, with the agriculture land is 4.40 million hectares, whereas the productivity is 5919 kg per hectare. And the food grain production, of course, 10.69 million tons, because they have. So even if you compare this food production per unit of hectare, that your productivity, you can see here that 5919 kg per hectare. It's very, very high figure. So when we compare these countries, the India, China, Japan, now you compare the other countries. USA, you have a look at it, agriculture land is 405 million hectares. Then their productivity is 8692 kg per hectare, and the mechanization level, of course, is 95%. There, because the population there is very small, and the number of tractors per 100 square kilometer, 271 there, where we have about 158. Now, similarly for Russia, the land is 215 million hectares. So even there, the land is very high, and the productivity level is lesser than us here. Maybe that the contribution of this with regard to industrialization is higher. So mechanization level here is 85%. Similarly, in China, as I said, it is 50%, and Japan mechanization level is 95%. And that is the reason that they have risen to 5919 kg per hectare, as compared to what we have 40% as 3248 kg per hectare. So we need to learn from these countries. Japan is a small country, China is a large country. You see the mechanization level variation that has taken place. Brazil 75%, where the agricultural land is 236 million hectare. So I think these are some of the figures which give us a clue as to what should be the mechanization and what should be our target. We have the population in hand, we have the people available for working in agriculture, and then we need to have the size of the land we are talking of. We have also seen that the size of the land has changed over a period of time. That means more and more small lands have come. What are the items or what are the options left to us when we are thinking of mechanization or more and more food production in the 21st century? See the agriculture land, the cropping intensity, grain yield, tractors per 1,000 hectare, crop area per tractor, number of power tillers. You see what has happened over the period. There has been, see the crop area per tractor. Crop area per tractor is now 16 hectares. It was once in 1960, the very figure was very high. Now in 2019, it was 16 hectare per tractor. So that means there has been more and more increase, and I'm sure we now know that the total tractor population is something of the order of about 9 lakhs or so in the country, 9+ lakhs or so. And this has an indication that yes, we are going towards more and more mechanization. Maybe the modality is different when we talk of the various sizes of lands. When the other power sources which are there is power tillers, that has also increased 0.70 millions. Then we have the draft animal. Yes, this is a question which we need to look at because the draft animal has decreased, and therefore we need to have innovations on that. Otherwise, we will have to depend on either the agricultural labor or the tractors or the other self-propelled machines or the other innovation machines which you will have. Because you can see that the population which is contributing in agriculture labor has increased from 131.1 million to 291 million. And this is one which is another one which gives us an indication as to what is to be done. What should be the optimal level of mechanization that we are thinking of, and what should be the mode of that. The number of tractors, of course, it is the figure which I was talking of. So when we talk of the power source in the farms, yes, it is increasing. So now come to the main question of why mechanization is needed. Well, we have talked of the land productivity. We have talked of the maximizing the farmer's income. Yes, this is one thing which is important. Now I'll come to this later. Precision utilization of input resources, business-like attitude for agriculture, cooperative farming, value addition for the food. When we are talking of post-production activities which need to be done, and I think my friends in the processing, they are better equipped to tell the amount of losses that are taking place and amount of the value addition that we are doing to the food. They have better figures, and therefore there is need for this as well. And most important is we are talking the storage facility. In fact, portable cold storage facilities at the village level. In fact, when we are talking of the total economy and the ecosystem which is existing in the country today. We cannot neglect our small friends who are there in the agriculture with small lands. And we have seen that fragmentation has increased, which is there with these people. Now, what are the options? We are talking of, for the last 6 years or so, we are talking that we have to maximize the farmer's income. Our Honorable Prime Minister has said that we need to double the farmer's income by 2022. I think while double, we should also think of why not maximizing the farmer's income. Then if we have to maximize the farmer's income, what are the options? What are the possible avenues to be given to him? What are the types of farm power he should have? What sort of innovative machines he should have? What sort of activities and crop rotation which he should take? How he should utilize the input resources which he has? How precisely he should give the inputs in the form of seed, fertilizer, machine energy, fuel energy, everything that Because, as I said earlier, the land has shrunk, and therefore we have to have multi-cropping intensity, multiple crops in the same land. And there he has to think of various types of crops, various variety of crops in a business-like attitude. And therefore, it is very important that because of the small lands, maybe that machines would not work, bigger machines may not work. But then the answer is that we need to have innovative way of cultivation. There could be many ways. I'm not advocating that only go for large machines, but yes, there could be small machines. There could be self-propelled small machines which have come in the purview of the farmer's income. And if the attitude is a business-like attitude, this has to be taken. Until unless we talk of business-like attitude for agriculture, I think our farmer will never become have his income doubled or maximized. The farmer has to be educated about his land, the resources of his land, various types of crop rotations, various types of crops he can take, and the water, availability of water, etc. This is the job of the government. They have to think of the innovative ways of harvesting the water. They have to think of utilizing the water in the various locations where the dry land agriculture is there. People have to think of the various types. If you go to the Registan, and there we are saying that it's not possible but to go to Israel, and we will know that what is the condition. So I think there is need to do a lot of innovations in order to make our farmer stronger and having a business-like attitude. He must understand that unless I produce something and I hold it for some time when I get more money. So he has to have some sort of a storage facility very close to his house. He should have these innovative ways of completing all the operations in time, and enough time for taking a third crop, a fourth crop, a horticulture crop, a fruit crop, or any other way by which he can economize on his inputs and maximize the outputs. He should use more and more energy. Maybe that he would like to have more of solar energy utilization, solar energy to be utilized, so that he can think of the minimizing his inputs and therefore maximizing the output that he's thinking of. And therefore, there is need for a strong level of mechanization. It's a good question for each one of us to think as to what are the ways by which we can reach to these locations of making the farmer's income higher, and how to make him a business-like person. There are people in this country who are showing the way that if you are really smart, you go to the Punjab farmers, you go to the northern UP and part of this, go to some of the northeast, people have taken up a small way of having business of these vegetables and fruits, etc., which are produced in those locations. So if you can get those things to the close to the farmer, I'm sure that we will be in a position to answer the question that we are thinking of. Now here you can see the various states, what is the condition of the power and the yield. Of course, all of our friends know that more and more power on the farm, there is a direct proportion between the yield that we are going to get out of this. Yes, this is what exactly. See, 95, 96, this was the condition, and an average value by 2030, 31 is going to be over 4 kilowatt per hectare, and yield about 4.2 tons per hectare, an average yield of the country that we are talking of. But I'm sure many of the places already this figure exists in some of the states, in some of the crops. But then this was an average figure that we are talking of. You see here what is that the various machines that are available with us. Of course, these machines are available in the country, and we need to see as to how to best utilize these self-propelled machines or the tractor-drawn machines for rice, wheat, maize, and the details are of course given here. That what are the activities to be done? See, for the seedbed preparation, sowing, weed control, and harvesting and threshing, we have machines available for wheat. Similarly, for rice and maize. That means we need to have a holistic look at all the crops, whether they are cereal grain crops, cereal crops, or horticulture crops, or the pulses, spices, or fruits. I think we need to have a holistic approach on each of the aspects of mechanization that we are thinking of. And well, cotton, oil seeds, vegetable crops, horticulture crops we had talked of, and these are the things available in the country today. And we need to make our farmer strong in mind and think that, okay, why not come forward and have cooperative farming? Why not 4 or 5 farmers come together and create about 4 hectare, 5 hectare of land where you can use these machines at very less cost. And that means we need to educate the farmers so far as the business-like attitude is concerned for agricultural production and productivity. Of course, the stocks of the distribution of tractors in India, when we have talked of this figure already. Now, some of the machines which have come, these machines are being used in several parts of the country, and which are supposed to be very effective in the sense that I have seen here also in West Bengal, and the combines from various parts of northern part of India had come to the eastern part, and there you can see that the person has to pay for harvesting his crop or for transplanting on a very time basis, and therefore these are the things which have to be provided to the farmers. There could be various ways of utilizing these mechanized machines which are there. And we need to also, many a times when we are talking of this, I think there is a question which needs to be answered by our engineers and scientists. We need to have these machines to be repurposed for our own location. Of course, the machine manufacturers who are coming here, they are thinking of the production here. They are thinking of making locally, and maybe that either also to export. At the same time, utilization of the power that we have, and therefore it is possible that we can think of a system by which we are, the engineers, the scientists, and the industries come together, and of course the government, and see that how these machines can be repurposed for our own locations, or what is the best way of utilization of these on the various farms, let alone the bigger farms. Of course, there is no problem, but we are talking of majority of the small farms that we are talking of mechanization of those. And hence, we need to have precise, as I was talking, that we need to have a precise way of looking at the various inputs. Then we need to get into what is the soil, crop, and climate's condition. We need to have database. People are working at various locations in the country. My engineers are working, scientists are working together to see that we holistically and together we come forward and solve the problem. This is another thing which is important, that the scientist and engineer must work in a group. And of course, this is a tough job. While I say this appears to be a tough job, but I think this is a requirement of the country. We have to have the technologies to use together. I can see the technologies. We're talking of GIS, GPS, remote sensing has been going on for a long time, but now it has more relevance when we are talking of when we are talking of creating more and more food for this for our country. I think this has become very relevant. We are talking of variable rate application. We are talking of use of artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and the management of the resources that we have. So that means when we are talking of precision agriculture, we are talking of how best our technology and the agriculture has to merge. And there are various projects which are being conducted in various parts of the country. I think ICAR has thought of in a bigger way, and the Deputy Director General, the Director General, the directors of the various institutes, I think they are coming together, and we are thinking of how to create this data of about soil, crop, and the climate, and how the technology and agriculture's scientists marriage takes place, so that we maximize on the inputs and maximize the output and minimize the inputs that we are talking of, and have a better way of answering the question of food security. Of course, these are some of the things which are taking up in a big way, because while we are thinking that population use of population, our own, we see that about 47% of the people, and more of the female population is coming in agriculture. Now we need to think of what are the innovative ways, how do we solve our big problem of various kinds, whether are the flat land or we are talking of the terraced land. So some of these which are coming up, and where a lot of innovation is possible on the robotics, which we can do, on the drones which are being used, and we need to repurpose drones for farms, small farms. We need to have 500 grams payload capacity of a drone, which is possible. And if we have these things, it is possible to get the work done at some of the northeastern hill situations. And Internet of Things, of course, now with the laptop, with the palm top available with you, the various types of mobiles available with you, the farmer can have a set of machines, the tractors and self-propelled machines, and he can think of how best he can utilize all these resources by simply hiring and getting a business out of this. Then, of course, the data required is too much, because we need to know about the soil. We are talking of, we have been talking of variable rate fertilizer application. We have been doing at CI Bhopal and IIT Kharagpur, Riven, and several other locations. Now, what we are doing is a map-based technology, but we need to have a sensor-based technology here, by which we are in a position to utilize these, and therefore we need to have the machine learning and the automation which need to be incorporated in this technology. Now, the controls by which you can think of these are the weed control, cloud seeding, plant seeding, harvesting, environmental monitoring, and soil analysis. Of course, these are the innovative machines which are for the future machines. There has to be these machines. We have to work on that. People are working. Let us not think that these are machines costly. A time will come when they will become cheaper and availability. And when we are thinking of Atmanirbhar, when we are thinking of having the technology done over here, I think we have to go back to what Japan used to do centuries ago, and China, that have these small machines. We have in Gujarat. I was talking to one of the Minister of State for Shipping, Mandoyaji, yesterday, and there he talked that we need to do, maybe we can say that we need to look at the machines and re-engineering of these machines to suit our requirements. And I'm confident that these machines are going to be the machines for the future. Of course, when we talk of drones, these are the various ways by which we can have data collection of the crop yield, animal monitoring, very much required. We, as I was talking, that we have to think of agriculture in a holistic approach. We have to think of the animals, we have to think of their feed for the animals, we have to think of the human beings, we have to think of the whole ecosystem of the foods which are there in grains, cereals, and so on and so forth. So therefore, there is need for such applications, and we need to repurpose and bring them to a lower cost. Similarly, as I talked up, this is possible in greenhouses. Yes, these greenhouses are the ones which the livestock and the greenhouses. Now, these are the locations where we do need to do innovation, and we need to look after our dairy farming, etc., where this is going to be the future. This is the 21st century situation where the engineers have a challenge to learn this. We are talking of machine learning, and we're talking of artificial intelligence. In fact, let me tell you that in IIT Kharagpur in 2020, whoever has joined will be going ahead with a course. At least one course he has to do, whether he is BTech, MTech, or PhD, the course on artificial intelligence and machine learning. And I think it is not high time that ICAR must also look into this and see that machine learning. People are talking of artificial intelligence in the schools. Why not infuse in these our colleges and universities? Because this is the requirement of the future. All our agriculture engineers are utilizing this. So it is high time that we take help of the computer science or electronics people with these and get these things, you can say, taught to our young friends who are working in agriculture. I think various machine ways by which we can, I told you that what are the ways by which we can utilize the data of GPS. We are talking of the IoT, we are talking of machine learning. I think the various work that has been done at various locations, we are trying to show to you and showing the way that, yes, this is what is 21st of, well, these are the things which we have shown, how drones can be utilized and what are the, how solar energy can be utilized. I think we need to look at these small machines where there is an answer for us in the 21st century. They are the course curriculum of BTech Agriculture Engineering at all the institutes needs to be changed. And there has to be a technology merger. There has to be technology for all this. You cannot think that, okay, animal husbandry, he should not be knowing artificial intelligence. He must know the food processing, the agriculture engineers, the agronomists, everybody, the people who are breeders, they must have also knowledge of the soil, the breed, and the ecosystem. And therefore, this artificial intelligence, machine learning is a must for all of us together. We cannot think that only this is meant for the electronics and computer science people. I think there is a need for this in the future. And well, these are some of the work which we have been doing in various crops and various ways where we have used precision agriculture. And these are the requirements for the future. And there has to be more and more research and come out with machines. We cannot wait now. We don't have more than 3 to 4 years of time in which we have to have this thing. By 2030, if we want to have the population fed with the nutrient food and the sustainable food, as well as the good quality food and affordable food. Similarly, for these work which we have done at IIT Kharagpur, I'm talking of the various ones which are known. We are talking of automatic fungicide applicator, which is there for the sugarcane. It's a big problem. We need to answer these aspects through the way that we are doing over here. And of course, this you can see there listed retrofitted ultrasonic sensors. These are the ones which are required, and you need to save. In each of these locations, you can save a lot of your chemical and the energy, even the machine energy that we are talking of, and also control the insects and pests. Well, I think with this, I thank you. I have tried to share my thought as to what should be in the 21st century. And maybe that if you have certain questions, I would like to answer. I think we should have some more time because we had started about 10 minutes. Yes.
Thank you, Professor Tiwari, for this excellent talk. I think you have touched from the statistics that what we were in 1970 and how we moved in 2015, 16. So what are the gaps and how we stand in the world over, and why the requirement of the mechanization is there. We have really justified the need of mechanization for the future agriculture, for the agriculture fourth revolution. I think it's a excellent viewpoints. You have given a lot of points for the thinking, for the new directions in the research. So thank you very much, sir, for this excellent talk.